Welcome to another episode of the Waffle Shop podcast. Tonight's a bit of a first. I'm joined by my first rock band on the show. The whole band is here. It's the Hara. Welcome to the Waffle Shop.
All right, man.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo.
How are you doing?
Fantastic, actually. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Just
Ecstatic.
Just come back from America, from Texas.
I saw that. Texas, how was the trip?
It was great.
Long.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Long, busy. It doesn't even feel real. Like we're still kind of jet lagged.
I slept 16 hours last night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Longest sleep.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Anything from... Oh, now we're talking.
Well, expensive margaritas, but yeah.
So I feel like you're the sensible one. Am I right?
I just look after our money.
Yeah.
I just seen $160 go out for 6 margaritas.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, they're made of gold.
Wow.
Well, we'd have thought it would have been,
Yeah.
but no, it's fucking frozen.
Do you reckon America has like their equivalent of spoons? So I feel like we're onto something.
Ah.
We were speaking to somebody about this when they was talking about the price of things, and we was like, well, we have a spoons where you can get like food and a drink for about £3.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think they do. I don't think
no,
they
it
do, but
wasn't. We didn't see much.
we did get $1 cans of Lone Star beer.
Oh yeah,
which was a steal.
Yeah, that was good.
How was that? Because it sounds exquisite. How was the taste?
It's like the classic Texan beer.
Yeah.
It's actually good.
It's like a Budweiser kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's just a standard lager, but it was like Texan brew, you know. Lone Star, man, the Lone
Deep
Star
South.
State. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So when in Rome, you've got
exactly. You got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I start each one of my shows with something called the Weekly Waffle, and it's something that, quite frankly, gets on my goat. That once I've spoken to my guests about, it makes me feel a little bit better. Quite a lot of them are petty, but it stops it snowballing into the bigger thing. So obviously feel free to get involved. But the thing that's been really pissing me off this week, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's spots. Wow. You can see that.
Oh, it's huge.
It looks like I've got a full-blown nipple. And it's like, I'm in my 30s now, and I feel like I've dealt with this like 15 years ago. Why am I still having to deal with this?
I had a big old spot at the side of my lip for about 2 weeks. I'm like, why is it not going?
It's always when it seems when there's something big coming up as well. Like, oh, you've got an event or a recording. Yeah. It's like, got my first rock band. I know, bottle impress them. I'll grow a tit on my forehead. That'll really show them.
No, you can't notice, man. Honestly,
you're a handsome dude.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. So, to be fair, apart from obviously I'm going to say it. Obviously, there was an incident before we hit the record button, which I imagine when you're on a tour bus, that might be quite annoying. Is there anything that you guys, obviously, when you're on tour or just in life in general, that gets on your nerves that you want to share today?
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
where do we start? Farting's a big thing, man.
The farting is a big thing.
It depends on the mood. If we're all in a giddy mood, it's hilarious.
Yeah. It's funny, yeah.
But if we're tired and someone lets go of that round stains, then it's just
Josh has a habit of waiting, as he did before, of waiting until he's in an environment when you can't escape it. Well, that is annoying.
I mean,
like, we'll be at a service station getting food, and you're obviously outside walking so that you can get rid of all that brown ass there. And then he decides, as soon as we shut the van doors and we're on our way, that's when he goes.
That's where. I mean, strategic farts, I guess. We'll label them as.
Yeah. On his part.
Tasteful farts, great. But unsolicited, non-consensual, it's a no-go.
Yeah. It's bad. But in just general pet peeves, I absolutely can't stand people that eat loudly and with the mouth.
Yes. There's no need for that.
Start a full-on fight with you if you.
I like it. I like the ASMR. Like.
Oh no.
It gets all tingly.
It depends. Yeah, it depends what's being eaten, I guess.
Well, I don't know. Our sound guy has this thing where he'll come up to you and go like this and go, "Oh yeah, I just couldn't hear you fucking eating it." So, yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve. I think.
What's mine?
Me.
I feel like I've got the sensible one, the problem, and then I'll work out what the other one is as we go on.
Loud noises in the morning, big one for me.
Yeah, probably loud noises in the morning. That's a good one.
Is that really loud noise, or is that just like people talking?
Tim singing
What
in the morning, right?
the problem again?
Just anything that's past certain decibel before a certain time that's appropriate. I think, because we do live quite nocturnal lives sometimes, and that combined with the fatigue can make one quite hypersensitive to loud noises when that is your job. So again, unsolicited and non-consensual loud noises, I'm fucked.
That are followed with quite a repulsive smell. I see where this is going.
I'm just a guy. I love everyone.
This guy's just chill.
That's what a problem would say. It's one of the conversations that I love having, especially when I have a musical guest on the show, is how that journey started. Like, I've had people on here who said that like they've been to certain gigs, or they've heard certain songs, or they kind of fell in love with an instrument. How did like your story start? How did like the first steps into music begin?
I remember what made me want to play guitar. I was watching Kerrang, and
Nice.
And I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness came on. And
Classic.
Which is a classic song, incredible. Yeah, hells yeah. And that video is so like glam rock, with like Justin Hawkins in his like sequined onesie, and there's an incredible guitar work in it as well. And I remember the guitar solo was like behind a wall of Marshall amps on like a spaceship when he's in his like silver sequined gown.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's still pretty hard to beat. But that was it. I thought, wow, this guy's the coolest fucking thing in the world, and I want to be that cool.
Love that.
Similar story with me. I used to be obsessed with watching. My parents used to get me live DVDs of Robbie Williams in concert, and I had about 3 of them that I used to just watch on repeat in my room. And I just used to look at this guy and think, bloody hell, everyone loves this guy and he's amazing. Like, he just does whatever he wants. I'm like, that's what I want to do. So just wanted to be Robbie Williams for about 2 years.
I think so. I used to beatbox when I was a kid. Just being like super skits when I was younger.
Yeah.
No.
I was gonna say, prove it. Do you know what? Actually, Lily Allen taught me how to beatbox.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know why this is like a core memory, but like I remember she had like a TV show on BBC Three back in the day, and it was always like, I'm sure it was like Boots and Cats.
Yeah, that's the classic.
That's the classic.
So yeah.
But I used to beatbox when I was like a kid in primary school, and then I went to a school show for my brother's like year 11, whatever, and a lad there who I'm still in touch with played a drum solo, and I remember thinking, holy shit, like that's the same thing that I do with my mouth. Maybe I should try that. And then I tried it, and it worked. So, that was it, really.
I love it. To be fair, so how did like you go from, especially from like, this is how it started, from like Justin Hawkins to Robbie Williams to a beatboxer, to kind of like to the sound that like you guys are like, known for now?
Oh, it's a long journey, man. Evolution, as we call it. I think we were all, before the band, we were all doing our own thing individually as musicians. And, when we came together, we all had like individual influences, music tastes, and even still to this day, I think what makes our sound, unique and us is the fact that we are all very, inspired by different ththings. But I guess now more so than ever, we're inspired more by the same things. But I don't know, man. Like, if you spoke to us when we started the band, we would have been a completely different band. Like, we say the band we are today probably started just after lockdown, when we started playing festivals for the first time, and we were introduced to this different audience. And now we're just all about the fucking rock, man. Oh yeah, energy, and I don't know. We've always wanted to break boundaries though. We've always wanted to have fun and put on a show, and I think that's the main thing that sort of creates who we are, creates ourselves.
I like that. Do you still remember that like first time that you like took that first step out on stage as like the three of you?
Yeah.
Like how was that feeling? Like was there a level of like?
Yeah, man.
Technically, it wasn't more.
2017.
But yeah,
the first proper gig.
Yeah.
It was Morecambe Carnival 2017.
Yeah,
And it was
we had the bandanas.
is it August? I'm sure it was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and it was mad. It was really bloody good.
It was actually a sick gig. It was a big gig for like it was like a little like festival in Morecambe, so it was like a few for people out there.
Yeah.
And I remember we did this thing where we walked on stage with bandanas around our face like we're like gangsters. We walked out, no one could see our face, and we had this big dramatic intro. Yeah, and it was pretty.
We whipped off the bandanas at the intro.
Here they are.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Is it nice like seeing like the crowds like slowly get bigger and bigger? Because obviously you guys have like hit like because I was speaking to my sister actually because this is who I live with, and I was saying about who I'm recording with tonight, and she was like, I saw them at Reading.
Oh, no way.
So I was just like, so it's going from that like kind of like Morecambe say, and then have you guys looked back and be like, fuck, okay, like we're smashing it here, like to getting onto like these big stages?
I think for me, like the guy I was in the band at the start would think the guy who's in the band now is so cool, and I think I love that. Like
that's what it's about.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this guy, yeah, man.
Yeah. We very rarely reminisce on stuff we've done. It's obviously there, and like we know what the big points were. Like Download, first time we played that, and the last time we played it was fucking unbelievable. Same with like Main Stage running on Leeds, that was all crazy. But it's the same. I suppose it's a bad thing in a way. Is all you always want more, and you always want the next thing to be bigger and better. So
it's very easy to get caught up in that mindset and not appreciate what you've done just as much. Like we were talking about this last week because we were in Texas, first American shows. I've never been to America before, and I think it's absolutely wild that the first time I get to go to America is via the music we make.
Something that you've created.
That's mind blowing. But because it's easy to get caught up in this rat race, it doesn't process as well as it should do. So there lies quite an issue, like a bit of an issue, really. It's like something that I think is it's a challenge. Yeah. So,
how do you navigate it? Because obviously, I'm very obviously we talk about music and mental health like a hell of a lot on the show, and I've took quite a lot of my biggest coping mechanisms now purely just by having these kind of conversations. How do you navigate those kind of feelings of like overwhelm or like, okay, shit, I've done this? Like, it's even like I feel like even as men, like feeling proud can sometimes be a weird emotion for us to feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we still do. Like, we've been through it all, and we have fucking shit days, and the doubt, especially, trying to make it in music, and especially for us, we've always said since we started, we want to be fucking selling out arenas, and that's the only goal we have. We want to be there, and we still believe it to this day. That's where we're going to be, and I mean that's a big thing when we do cool stuff. We're like, yeah, but we're not selling out an arena yet, and it's like, it's that sort of striving for these massive goals. I think sometimes does take its toll, and you forget to appreciate stuff. So I think it is like you're saying, like guys especially find it hard, I think, because we don't talk about it as much. And we just had a conversation before we were on a different interview and talking about, like, we just chat as much as we can. Like if we come in the studio and the vibes are a bit down, sometimes we'll just be like, right, what's going on? Why do we feel like this? And as soon as we talk about it, it's we're back to the rat race again, aren't we? But, yeah, I think just trying to appreciate it more is a big thing.
Yeah,
appreciate the shit we're doing, because it is amazing, the stuff we've done, the stuff we're doing.
Just taking a step back and like giving yourself a moment to breathe and reflect is a big thing. It's what I tried to do last week, and I wish I had a proper answer.
No, but I do find it
we're all
really interesting. because it's these kind of, because especially when you do, you know, you have these moments of like, okay, this is like fucking incredible what I'm doing in the moment. But I don't think we kind of give ourselves enough credit for those, you know, the moments that it took to get there. You know, I think especially in this generations, we're all focused like on the end goal, that sometimes we miss out on some like incredible moments that are happening right in front of our face. So I love having these conversations to kind of, because they are powerful. And I think these are the kind of things that are key to getting you to where you need to be, because it's just an extra tool in your toolkit.
That's it, man. It's exactly that. And what I was saying before, like thinking about who like we were 5 years ago, looking at us now, like we'd probably be so proud of like what we're doing. The fact, like you know, the way we create music now, the way we like communicate with people in the industry, and like the show we put on, like all these little things that might not seem that significant, but when you look back, it's like fucking hell, like we've done all that. It's pretty fucking cool, man. And to be able to like, you know, got to the point now where we, you know, make somewhat of a living for our music, which is like we've only just managed to do that the last year, where we're paying ourselves each month is massive, really. You know, we're making money through what we love, which is great. So
That's the best job in the world, surely. You're getting paid for doing something that you love to do.
100%.
Is it there's a question that, especially when I have a music guest on, like, you know, when it comes to artists and stuff, like you put a lot of like your personal experience, emotion, you know, vulnerabilities, like all into these like incredible like anthemic songs. How do you like cope when they're sang back to you? Like, is there moments with certain songs or whatever it might be, and you hear it, someone else saying it back to you, that you feel a bit like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. One of the things that I remember so well, and to put it into perspective, we all play with in ears in.
It's hard to tell in the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, with like you've got clip, you've got tracks, you've got everyone else in those ears, and you don't. One thing we don't have is crowd sound.
Yeah.
And when we played Download the last time, and it got to our song Friends, and it got to the chorus of it, and the crowd was so loud doing the da 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 da. That I was like, oh my! And I actually took one of my ears out just to listen to the crowd, because it was so amazing and overwhelming. And one of the first things we said when we came off was like, "Did you hear the crowd like on that part? That was insane." So that's one of the things that just sticks with you, of like you say, like hearing crowds sing stuff back to you. Yeah, it's nuts. It's a cool feeling.
I think that's like one of the main beautiful things about live music. And you know, when we haven't played a gig for a while, I think one of the main reasons we get down is because it's so hard to see like the results of the work you've been doing. And like, so for the album, for example, we're going on tour in a few weeks and we're going to play the album for the first time. I think, you know, the first time we hear people singing our new music back, it's like that feeling is there. It's like, fucking hell, we have actually connected with people here. And, you know, all that stress and anxiety and all, it was all worth it. You know what I mean? So
No, a lot of respect for that.
yeah, man.
There's an element that I'm kind of feeling with you guys, that you're very open and honest, like when it comes to, like you mentioned about, like, you know, when there is like a bit of a vibe in the studio or wherever it might be, that, you know, you encourage the conversation. Has that always been the case, or has there been kind of things that have happened to like, well, actually, no, I need to kind of be this open when it comes to that kind of thing?
I think like it's weird was we've net like, you know, we have our bickering sometimes, but we've never like had any massive falling out or anything. I think the reason is because since the start we've always had that communication, and you know, I think we feel it when there's something up, we're like, we need to get it out because it ruins everything, man. You can't work when there's that sort of vibe, and because making music, playing music is all about having a good vibe, and you know, especially trying to like achieve your dreams and achieve what we want to do. Like if someone's just like not feeling good, it's hard to get that going. And yeah, I don't know. What about you? Do you guys feel that? I don't know. I think
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
100%, man. I think it's been
natural.
Yeah, natural is a good word for it. I don't think. Yeah, we've always just kind of held communication in a high regard, and of course, communication in any area, regardless of what it is key. It's paramount. But without a doubt, in music, it's even more important, because music is about expression, and you need to feel comfortable in yourself. And if there is an atmosphere, then obviously number one, you've got to talk about it. If you're feeling down or whatever, you've definitely got to talk about it. But I think we're all very receptive of each other. So if we might notice maybe one of us might be down, so immediately we're just like, "What's wrong?"
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Talk to me.
Talk to us. Yeah.
I think
No,
as
I
well,
think
like,
it's really refreshing.
I was just gonna say, like, the nature of, like, you know, our career and the people we've met and the experiences we've had. I think sometimes it's hard to, like, trust people around you, and I think knowing that we can, no matter what, trust each other is really important, because, you know, it is the Wild West, man. Like, it's so many characters out there.
You know what nice? I get a real sense of that. Like, even like 2 minutes into the recording, I can sense there's like a real kind of strong bond with you guys, which is really nice.
We just snog each other like it.
Like, you know, it's all kisses and farts in this room.
So I can feel the love and the smell.
Oh yeah.
There's one thing, because obviously when you think of like these like incredible like rock bands and stuff like that, like there's an element that, especially from the outside looking in, of confidence. Like, you have got to have some bollocks to walk out on that stage night after night and do like what you do. Do you have to like psych yourself up to get into that mindset of like, right, let's go? Like, do you have anything like rituals or anything before you get out on stage?
Yes, we do. We made a mistake. We made our first mistake when we were in America. So we've had this ritual we've done for years now. Whenever we go on stage, we come together, hands in the middle, and then I do a little bit of a motivational speech. You know, it changes each time, but it's usually like, right, we're the best band in the world. We're going to go out there and we're going to destroy every member in the audience. It's going to be absolutely carnage. Take no prisoners, you know what I mean? And then at the end of it, we all lift our hands up and we go, Gods of the game. That's our motto, right? But we played our first show in America on Monday, and for some reason, we just forgot to do it. And like, his guitar got out after the first song. The sound was all wrong on stage, and it, you know what? I think it's because we didn't do the ritual. So,
is there any superstitious like vibes with that?
Well, I mean,
on the Friday we did do it,
and it was a great show.
And it was a huge success.
I mean, can't argue with the facts.
Yeah, so
can't argue with that.
I love it. I find it so interesting. Like, I had like, obviously I have like a wide range of guests on, and I've had people on here who do like they say a prayer, they do like a little quick FaceTime, or they call their mom beforehand just to get that like reassurance. So I love kind of tapping into the mind, especially like, but because obviously you were my first rock band actually on the show, so it's not a refreshing conversation.
That's rock and roll.
Yeah,
that's true rock and roll.
With festivals, I think it's like, the ritual is a big part of it. With live performances in general, our ritual is a big part of it. But festivals are pretty like hype. Like Monday was chaotic, wasn't it? I'm not surprised we forgot it. It was a chaotic day. But then on our tour shows, I think we all listen to music.
Yeah.
I think
hyped up a bit.
Yeah, our biggest anxiety when we played is not like our performance or anything like that. The biggest thing we worry about is like the sound, because there's so much that goes into our sound. It's not just us three. It's like we've got like bass running, backing vocals, keys, Sims, you know, other guitars, and there's so much going out. And if we don't have that time, so like on Monday we didn't have a sound check, like so much can go wrong. So I think whenever we play a show, we always like to get in the venue early, make sure it's all set up. And as you know, if we know our ears are going to sound good, then we're pretty relaxed and we just go out there and smash it. So yeah, it's just a hard life, man.
It's exciting though, surely.
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
100%. Won't be doing anything else.
What would you be doing if it wasn't? Did you ever have like a boring job before this?
You had a couple.
Yeah, I have worked at various different places. I've been fired from most of my jobs. What have I done? Some bar work before. Been fired from both my bar jobs. Worked at a hotel for a little bit, which was nice.
Nice.
What else have I done?
Did you work at Clark's or something? Or a Gap?
Oh, I worked at Gap. Got fired from Gap as well. Yeah. And man, I worked at student finance. That was probably like my most adult job that I had, which was really good actually. I did enjoy that.
If it's got finance in the title, it's It's a real, real
People,
job.
I think it's like the people you work with, without a doubt, regardless of the job. If you're with a good team or if you're with the good people, it makes it.
Oh, it's
far
make
more
or break.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess it's like being in a band, isn't it? Because I imagine if there's like, if it doesn't kind of click, then I imagine with like creativity and kind of differences and stuff like that, it might not kind of, I guess, look and sound as good as it should do.
Yeah, man. Like you're performing for like an hour and a half, and then there's the other 23, 22 hours in the day where you've got to you in each other's spaces, in each other's pockets all the time, and you've definitely got to get along, and we do, and we laugh a lot, and it's good fun.
The tour van is our sacred place. Like no one can hear what goes on in that band.
Anything
goes. We have the best time, And,
I was about to say, I think from the sound you made at the start of this, I don't want to hear what.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm never letting you live this down.
It's all right, man. I'm comfortable with me and my ass. So
he's comfortable. Too comfortable.
Too good.
I don't know what I'd be doing if I wasn't a musician. I'm quite an antisocial guy. I've got like my group of friends, and if you're not in my group of friends,
he doesn't like you.
Yeah, that's it. You're out.
But yeah, I'd probably be doing something where I pretty much work on my own. So like fishing, I'd be a fisherman or
competitive.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd be doing fishing competitions on all the time and all that sort of stuff. Or I'd just be, I don't know, I'd be doing my properties and something where no one can wind me up.
No one can talk to you.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'd
feel
definitely
like this is slowly turned into a
yeah.
Fair play. I feel like this is slowly turned into a job interview.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's like Lord Sugar at the minute. But to be fair, there's obviously we've got to talk about the album. Drops on the 7th of April.
Hell yeah.
And from the conversation that we've had previously, I'm guessing the name of the album, Survival Mode. I kind of understand it with the build up we've had to it. Like, is there anything that you can tell me about it? Because even the title, Survival Mode, kind of gives off the vibe that there's been a struggle to get to this point.
Yeah.
Is there anything what can you tell me about it?
It's everything to do with what we spoke about, our whole experience as a band being in the music industry, like surviving and conquering and meeting people and, meeting good people, bad people. And a big part of it as well, which we spoke about as well, is, battling our own thoughts, our anxieties and fear and all that sort of stuff, all compiled into one album. I think each song sort of touches on that from what we've experienced. And we even like to create characters in songs as well. So we don't like to tell people what our songs are about. We want people to listen and feel something and, make their own story within that. But what we have done is via our music videos have created a whole new story around survival mode where we get sucked into a game and we battle this big devil character.
I love that.
And each song is a different level, and that's sort of like our fun visual representation of what it's about. So the devil is this big bad guy that is all the stuff that we are fighting against. So, yeah, man, we're just trying to survive and we're trying to win this game that we're in.
Do you know what though? Like, I get a real sense of this. Like, I feel like you are winning. Like, the being as open, and you are like, you've obviously with like being in a rock band, you've got like you've got to have the look. And honestly, like, it's so nice because obviously when it comes to like judgment and stuff, like, oh, it's the rock band, blah blah blah, smashing TVs and all that kind of stuff. But hearing how open and honest you guys are is so fucking like respect worthy. Like, it's incredible.
Thanks, man.
It's the new rock and roll,
Being kind is rock and roll.
That's the thing. Like nowadays, we were speaking about this the other day, and it lends itself to like the drinking and partying and all that sort of shit. Everyone expects us, because we go out and play fucking songs in Drop E or whatever, that we're gonna be absolutely chaos, and when you meet us, we're gonna be absolute
Yeah,
idiots.
surprised, aren't you? And
Yeah, and all that sort of stuff. But we don't really drink. We'll have like a pint to be like, yeah, well done. But we don't really drink. We don't do drugs. We don't do any of that sort of stuff. We're just nice lads.
Let the music do the talking.
Something that we like to do. It's something that we've grown up loving and wanting to be in. So it's just.
I think that's probably one thing we struggled with within the industry is that, and there's a lot of people that have a fake persona. And put on a character, and we hate that so much. I think that's probably like why we struggle to integrate in certain like community because we're like, that's not real.
Got time for it. Yeah.
Why are you acting like that? You know what I mean?
That shouldn't even be the case, but it, without a doubt is. Like, it's ridiculous.
And the further we've got in our career, the more obvious we make it to you.
Yeah.
If we know that you're a bullshitter, basically, or if we know that your persona is completely fake. We met a bloke the other day that come and spoke to us, and he put on this accent and put on this fake like tough guy, and we literally just looked at him, and he ended up saying to you, he was like, "You don't look too impressed, do you, bro?" And he was just like, "No." It was funny.
So, you're from Oxford. Stop it. So, why are you talking like that?
Literally, it was so weird. But it is what it is.
Gotta be real, man. I mean, what's the point? If you're being someone that you're not, at the end of the day, it's just like, why, man?
Yeah,
it's a massive waste of time, isn't it? It's just like if it's I to be fair, from someone who spent a huge part of my life kind of with this kind of weird ego of like, oh, I can't do anything wrong, like not like in a bad way, but like with the situations and like my personal life, I felt like I was like untouchable in a way. And then there's been obviously certain moments that have been a real hard reality check to be like, you know what, looking back, that wasn't even who I was. And it's like now, like stepping out into like my own skin and having these kind of conversations, like you don't realize like how impactful they actually are, and being honest and being yourself and like staying true to like your core and like your values. That's what people respect. That's what people buy into.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely done as well. Like, the good people we've met, I think the reason, we've gotten so well with those people and why the relationships are still there is like, we go on stage, we act like absolute maniacs. I think I'm going to tell a story where we played this festival and I ended up getting reported because they thought I was on drugs on stage. Like there was a whole community page on Facebook about how the lead singer was on drugs, and it completely false. I'm just fucking go crazy.
Yeah.
But like, anyway, going back to the point is we put it all on stage, and then off stage, we chilled out guys, man. We want to have a good time.
With survival mode, then, from what we've kind of spoke about already, has there been like a therapeutic effect with writing these songs and even like performing them live that you've felt with this album?
A good question.
Well, we've only actually performed 4 of them live, 5 of them live, 6 of them. 6. So we're performing the full album on our tour, obviously. But in terms of writing them, I guess so. I guess without knowing, it's writing music, and this. I know there's, for me personally, writing a lot of these songs is a lot of my feelings and stories that are in them lyrics, and it's definitely therapy in a way, I guess, for sure. I
think once we start to like really run it on tour, that's when, from the first day when we open it up in Sheffield, it'll be apparent like what songs connect.
Yeah.
From a personal point of view, but also from a crowd point of view. I think the ultimate road test is to literally get out on the road and perform them. And your energy combined with like how the crowd is vibing kind of all congeals into this mega mix of emotions that will carry on post performance, and your opinion of it will be changed. So the songs I'm really looking forward to, maybe that's the way I can answer your question. The songs I'm looking forward to playing on this new tour from the album are basically every single one.
I'm about to say this. I'm going
straight to that to see what happens. Yeah,
it does make and break a song though live. Like we played songs live for the first time, and then we've never played them again because it just doesn't work, and then these songs like Got a song called Die in the City that didn't really get a lot of support on the place when we first released it, but after doing it live, it's become one of our most popular songs.
Yeah.
Same with a
Amazing.
song called Friends, you know. So I think that we kind of like to write a song and not get too attached. I think that's probably why we're struggling to answer, because we write a song, we leave it, we release it, and then we kind of gauge it from there, you know, and see how it goes live. So
we've even got songs that have done really well online, but like Zach says, they just don't work live. Like live, it's just a completely different vibe, especially with our show. And like Josh says, with us being so like chaotic and it so much energy with it, if then something takes that away, but not in a way that we want it to, we've obviously got bits of our set that are less mental. But if it does it in a different way and too much, or it doesn't quite connect, then we don't play them.
I feel like you're the most chilled out people I've ever had on this show. And I was expecting like, it's weird, isn't it? Like, especially from like I keep labeling obviously the rock band and stuff, but like, I actually feel like I'm just sat in my living room having a beer with a mate.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes
come round, man. We got some beers.
Oh, well, I'll bring the Febreze.
We did actually have.
We've actually got some
somewhere. You don't need to. We've got some.
So with the tour coming up, obviously, I imagine there's a lot of excitement and stuff, and that comes with like maybe some nerves with that. Music is my biggest coping mechanism. So when things get a little bit too much, my headphones go in. I've either got the music on or a podcast or whatever it might be, just to kind of help me navigate those kind of emotions. With you guys obviously heading out on tour, like, is there anything from a coping mechanism point of view that you kind of take on tour with you, or what is it from a day-to-day point of view that help you get through when it does get a bit chaotic?
I think it's similar to what you said before. Like, we talk to each other all the time. Each other is our coping mechanism as well. Like, it's so easy to talk to each other and get each other's vibe constantly, understand when someone's feeling down or anything, and constantly talking. I think personally or individually, we all like our own space at certain times, and we're all very respectful of that. Like, if one of us is chilling or wants to take himself off to watch something or go for a nap or do literally whatever they want, like practice on their own, we never really interrupted in that sort of vibe. So yeah, I think there's a massive amount of respect with each other for that sort of stuff. I don't think there's anything like material wise that I'll take on tour. Take like you say, like headphones, and we always have a pack of cards and that. But,
Nice.
I think one thing for me that I love to do when we go into a venue is find like a room that I can scream and shout in with no one else around. So I get quite anxious about my voice. It's something I'm working on, guys. But I like to get a room where I can just be like, make loads of noise, you know, and just be by myself and my loud voice. Yeah,
we know about that.
You know about that.
Especially in the mornings.
I'm quite similar to yourself. I make sure, like, the worst thing I could do is forget my headphones. That would be catastrophic.
Yeah.
I would hate that. I have to listen to me. I listen to music all the time, like all the time. So yeah, gotta be that. It's the vibe supplier, you know. It gets you in the mood, creates the atmosphere. And, in the mornings, afternoons, evenings, after a gig, all the time.
Gotta be well fed. Actually, that's a big one.
Yeah,
I can't survive without food, man. Gotta get that.
Custard creams.
Yeah, biscuits.
Solid.
Biscuits.
Bag of Gibbs.
Yeah,
bag of Gibbs.
We have an Xbox as well in our van, which is a great
You download more games.
we do. I was literally gonna say, I might put my little one out there.
Nice.
So when we put it on the Wi-Fi, we can just play whatever.
Mm.
Anyway, there's an Xbox in our van that is very very good when we're all a bit bored. We can watch a film. We can do. I'd need to get a new HDMI for it.
Nice.
You need to get Rocket League, man.
Yeah, I've got that on my own one. So that's when I can
cool.
just get there.
Cool.
So yeah,
This is turned into a shopping list.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we do all that, play games, watch films, whatever, and just have fun. Really.
Do you guys have a rider?
Yeah.
We're quite smart with it. See, this is our business minds, you see. So we do get like a set amount of money for each venue where we can have like this, food, all that sort of stuff. But we're like, no.
And that money's ours. So like the venue's like, we're gonna give you this money to get yourself food and blah 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 and blah, or the promotion team or whatever. And yeah, they're just like, this is the essentials. Everything else, if we want something, we'll go out and get it. But if not, keep the money.
Yeah, keep the money. Yeah.
Our essentials is like tea, coffee, water.
Yeah.
That's it.
All the stuff that comes free at a service station.
Yeah.
Someone stiffed us though once. We did one rider and it was like, we want water and a packet of Mawams. And it was like 70 quid. And we
Why,
were
what
like,
happened?
do you not remember that?
No. Oh,
It's
right.
the first. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. We don't talk about
Yeah.
that.
Wait, what? You can't say that then.
No. So it was a certain show.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
And they charged, and yeah, it was like a crate of waters, like 12 waters, which in Aldi is like 4 quid.
Yeah.
They charged us like 70 for it, and it was literally Aldi waters. It wasn't like they'd gone and got loads of bottles of Voss.
Yeah,
It was
I was about to say.
we knew what waters it was, and they way overcharged for it. So, and that was the last time that we allowed the rider to be bought before we got in and got the rider money, if that makes sense. So there's a big insight for you.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a quality band tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially from the Moam point of view.
Oh yeah. And they weren't even real Mawams as well.
Oh yeah, they were fake.
Oh mate,
Those
they've mugged
fuckers.
yous right off there.
Never again.
So, I have 3 final questions
Cool.
for you guys, and I find it really interesting again from a music point of view, because especially because I love a playlist. So these kind of songs that are going to follow when I ask you about them, they either get added to the playlist or they get put straight into the bin. I can't imagine it takes a lot, or it might do, to be fair. What songs need to be playing to get you guys on the dance floor?
Oh, okay.
This guy will dance to anything.
Yeah.
He dances all the time.
Yeah.
Just anything I can shake my ass to, really.
I'm not a dancer. I'm like a football crowd sing along guy. If that makes sense.
Respect
So I'd stand
that.
in the middle,
Yeah.
and give it some.
I like anything like anthemic, emo, old school, early 2000s. But to be fair, just any good bloody rocking tunes.
My dad's really, really good at remembering lyrics as well and like singing along. So I've constantly got like him singing. I said, it's times like these you learn to live again. It's times like these you learn. I said, it's times like, and just sing it over and over and over. Yeah. So anything that my dad will sing one line to and then keep singing that one line, I'll join in. Yeah. But
Like that.
I don't dance too much though.
Okay. On the flip side of that, is there songs that kind of, like, if you're in a bit of a funk, that bring out the emotion, or is there songs that kind of pull on the heartstrings a little bit with you?
Anything from John Mayer's Continuum album, his Born and Raised album, and Room for Squares as well. Just John Mayer.
Nice.
The song that really gets me is Particles by Nothing But Thieves, but the piano version.
Great
Nice.
tune.
Gets me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great tune.
Cracking choice.
What about me? Don't know, you know.
He doesn't cry ever.
No, I've
He's-
never.
The thing.
I'd say just like metal stuff. Listen, if I'm ever like in a down place, I listen to metal that I've not heard before because it like inspires me, if that makes sense. So I've recently just gone through a period of listening to Meshuggah quite a lot.
Yeah.
Listening to like Gojira and all these bands that I've heard like way in the past and like listen to like once or twice like the individual song. But yeah, I like listening to new music and new challenging stuff when I'm in that sort of mood, really, because it re-inspires me.
Yeah. It's so powerful though, isn't it? Like, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like, I mean, obviously you're the experts when it comes to it. Obviously you create these kind of, these bodies of work that do this for the people. But like how certain songs can take you back to like those kind of moments or those kind of emotions. Like it blows my mind how it even works. Like I'm sure there's some kind of scientific reasoning behind it, but it's so powerful.
There's actually a book about the science in songs, how to make a hit song. It's a real thing. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But there is a book.
There's a book somewhere.
There's a book somewhere.
There's a book on everything, isn't there?
Yeah.
Okay, one final question. If there was one song that you kind of were able to put into a box and then just put it to the side or set fire to it or tie some rocks to it and throw it in the ocean, and so you never heard it again, what song would it be?
That's a good question.
That song for me, I mean, it'd be anything from her, but the one song.
Oh God, there's some.
Oh, we're straight in there.
The one song that Brendan Urie did with Taylor Swift. It's fucking horrendous. That was like the turning point as well in his career because he was top of the game.
We love
fucking bossing it.
Yeah.
Then he released this, and it was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It's like Panic at the Disco is splitting up. Yeah.
It was awful.
Cheers, Taylor.
Yeah, literally. Do a song about it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Probably say like
That's
something by
true.
Megan Trainor.
Megan Trainor.
Solid. Just anything by Megan Trainor.
That Kanye West and Lil Pump song I could probably go without hearing.
Oh, yeah.
That was I was actually listening to Lil Pump yesterday because he released a rock song and it's called like Lil Pump X Heavy. It's not cool.
Oh no.
It's really bad. I'll have to show it you after this. It is bad. It is bad. So anything by Lil Pump.
I miss the old Kanye.
Yeah. So does everybody. Yeah. He's fucking lost his mind. Yeah.
Although that interview with Piers Morgan, I did find interesting. There's some genius in there, but it is crazy.
I think he is a genius. I think anyone, especially people like Rick Rubin as well. Like I would love, like he's dream guest for me. Just to sit down with him and just hear like the stories, how he does what he does. Like, I mean, I wish I had an ounce of musical talent just so I could actually understand it. But just I'm quite happy with watching from afar what you guys get to do.
Yeah, Rubin will be sick.
Awesome.
Honestly, guys, you have been a pleasure to have a waffle with. Like, best of luck with the album and obviously the tour. But thank you for joining me for a waffle.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure on our end as well.
Yeah.
Pleasure everywhere.
Yeah.
even in the butthole at the start.
Even the fast.
No, well, it's the first. It's an evening of firsts. So I appreciate it.